Welcome back to the deep dive, where we try to cut through all the noise and help you find the stuff that really matters. Today, we're diving deep into artificial intelligence in 2024, and we've got this pretty dense report from the Stanford AI Index to guide us. It's full of data and trends, but we're going to break it all down into, well, think of it as your AI cheat sheet.
Yeah, AI is changing so fast it can be hard to keep up. And this report does a great job of showing both the progress, the really exciting stuff, but also all the challenges that come along with it, right?
Okay, so let's get into it. One of the things that really jumped out at me was just how much AI research is happening. The report says AI publications have almost tripled between 2010 and 2022, but it doesn't seem like it's all good news.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just about how much research is out there, it's about who's doing it. In 2023, the industry, they put out over 50 big machine learning models, while universities only put out 15. It's a pretty big gap,
Hmm.
and a lot of it comes down to money.
Yeah, the report says OpenAI's GPT-4 costs $78 million to train, and Google's Gemini Ultra even more, like $191 million. It's kind of obvious that that creates a barrier for anyone who isn't super rich, right? Is this what the future of AI research looks like?
It's a good question, and one we should probably be thinking about. And this difference in funding, it kind of relates to the rise of these things called foundation models. These models are designed to be, well, sort of multi-talented. They can handle a bunch of different tasks. And just in 2023, we saw 139 new foundation models come out. That's more than double the year before.
Wow, that's a huge jump. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous about it. Are these models getting too powerful too fast? How can we be sure they're being developed responsibly?
Well, the report actually talks about a new transparency index. It measures how open AI developers are about their work, and the results aren't great. There's not a lot of transparency, especially when it comes to the data they use for training and the methods they use to build the models.
So we have these incredibly powerful AI models, but we don't always know what's going on inside them. It's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it definitely raises some serious questions about, who's accountable and how we can make sure that AI is developed ethically and in a way that aligns with our values.
Speaking of all that data used to train these huge models, the report suggests that we might actually be running out of data. Is that even possible? I mean, we're creating data all the time.
I know it sounds weird, right?
Yeah.
But researchers are saying that we could run out of high-quality language data as soon as 2024. And within like 20 years, even low-quality language data could be gone. And for images, it might happen by the late 2030s.
Wow, so are we going to hit a wall with AI if we don't have enough data to feed these models?
It's a real worry. One possible solution is to use something called synthetic data, which is basically data created by AI. It's like training an AI on text that another AI wrote. But there are problems with synthetic data, like model collapse.
Model collapse, what's that?
Imagine a band that keeps releasing the same album over and over. They might remix it a little, but it starts to sound the same. That's kind of what happens with model collapse.
Hmm.
The AI starts repeating itself, and the output becomes less diverse, less interesting.
Like an AI echo chamber. That's kind of scary when you think about it. If we want AI to come up with the new ideas, new solutions, we don't want it to get stuck.
Exactly. This really shows how important human-generated data still is, and that we need to find creative ways to deal with this potential data shortage.
Okay, so we've talked about the research, these foundation models, and the data problem. But how is AI actually doing in the real world? Is it living up to the hype?
Well, the report shows that AI is both impressive and flawed. On the one hand, it's doing better than humans in a lot of areas,
Yeah.
like image classification and basic reading comprehension.
So it's getting better at understanding what it sees and reads? That's pretty cool, but what does that mean for us, practically?
One example is that we're seeing more adaptable robots, thanks to models like Paul-ME and RT2. These robots can even ask questions, which is a big step towards robots that can work better in the real world.
Robots that can ask questions. That's both fascinating and a little creepy. What kind of questions are we talking about?
Well, think about practical questions. Questions related to their tasks. Like a robot in a factory might ask, can you pass me the wrench? Or what should I assemble next? It's all about making robots more independent and able to deal with complicated situations.
So it's not about robots taking over, it's about giving them the tools to be more helpful and efficient.
Right, exactly. But while AI is getting really good at some things, it still struggles with things that are fundamental to human intelligence, like truth and reasoning.
I thought the part about AI solving complex problems was really interesting. The report talks about GPT-4 being able to solve tough math problems, even at the college level.
Yeah, GPT-4 did really well on math tests, both for grade school and college. It got 97% of the grade school problems right and 84.3% of the college problems, which were much harder.
Imagine having an AI help you with that coding problem you've been stuck on. That's the kind of practical application that makes me excited about AI.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that AI is still in its early stages. And even with all this progress, the report also says that AI, especially these large language models, can still make mistakes and sometimes even hallucinate.
Hallucinate. That sounds kind of scary.
Basically, it means that the AI can make up information that sounds real but is completely false. And this isn't just a theory, it's happening in the real world, even in court cases where AI is being used to analyze evidence.
That's a little worrying. If AI is giving us false information, how can we trust it to make important decisions?
It shows how important it is to keep doing research on AI safety and making sure these models are not just capable, but also trustworthy and reliable.
So it's not enough to just make AI smarter. We have to make it more ethical and make sure it aligns with human values.
Exactly. And that's going to require researchers, policymakers, and really all of us to work together.
This deep dive is already showing just how complex AI is. It feels like we're at a really important point, and the decisions we make now are going to have a big impact on the future.
Absolutely. And this isn't just a conversation for tech people. It's a conversation we all need to be having because the future of AI is the future of all of us.
We've just been talking about some of the, advancements and challenges in developing AI. Now let's kind of shift gears a bit and look at how AI is changing things for industries and the job market. I know that's something a lot of people are thinking about.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big one. And the report actually gives some really interesting insights into how AI is reshaping the way we work and live, really.
Yeah.
One of the things that stands out is that more and more companies around the world are using AI. It reached 55% globally in 2023.
So it's not just tech companies anymore, right? AI is becoming pretty normal in lots of different areas. What does that mean for jobs? Are robots going to take everyone's jobs?
It's complicated. The impact of AI on jobs, I mean. Some jobs might be automated, yeah, but it's also creating new opportunities in fields like, AI development, data science, stuff like that.
The report says the U.S. has the most AI job postings, but the demand is going up everywhere. Even countries like India are seeing a lot more AI jobs.
That's right. In the McKinsey report we looked at, it suggests that generative AI, just that one type of AI, could add trillions of dollars to the global economy. But the impact on specific jobs and industries, it's going to be different for everyone. It's still early, so we're still figuring out how it's all going to play out.
It's an exciting time, but also a little uncertain, right? One thing's for sure, AI is here to stay, so we got to adapt to these changes. One area I'm really fascinated by is how AI is being used in science and medicine.
Oh yeah, that's a really revolutionary area. We're seeing breakthroughs that, well, they used to be science fiction. Now we have AI that can predict pandemics, diagnose diseases way earlier and more accurately, and even design new drugs.
That's incredible. Can you give us some specific examples of these, AI medical marvels?
Sure, take Synthesar, for example. It's an AI model that makes these synthetic brain images. And these images can be used to train other AI to diagnose neurological disorders. And they don't even need real patient data to do it.
So it's like having a practice brain. That's a game changer for research.
Exactly. Plus, it solves the problem of patient privacy and data security. Another cool one is Immunosera. This system uses AI and infrared sensors to find neurodegenerative diseases, things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and they can detect it much earlier than we could before.
Early detection is so important for those diseases. It gives people a chance to fight it and hopefully leads to better treatments.
Absolutely. And these are just a couple of examples. There's so much happening with AI in science and medicine.
It's pretty amazing to think about what's possible. But what about other industries? How is AI changing things outside of healthcare?
Well, AI is being used in tons of different areas. Finance, education, transportation, entertainment, you name it. Like in finance, AI is used to spot fraud, give personalized investment advice, and automate trading.
So AI is our financial advisor, our stockbroker, and our fraud detective all rolled into one.
In a way, yeah. But we have to remember these AI systems are tools, right? How well they work depends on whether they're used responsibly and ethically. In education, AI is being used to personalize learning, give feedback on student work, and even do some of the administrative tasks.
It's like a teacher's dream come true.
Yeah.
AI tutors, AI graders, AI administrator.
It could really change the way education works. But there are also concerns about the role of human teachers. And if we're not careful, AI could actually make existing educational inequalities even worse.
It's a good reminder that AI isn't a magic solution. It's a powerful tool. We have to think carefully about how it's used and what impact it could have.
For sure. And this brings us back to that big question we've been talking about. What does the future hold for AI and humanity?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Are you optimistic about the future? Pessimistic? Somewhere in between?
Hmm. I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic. I think AI has the potential to make our lives better in so many ways, but we have to make sure it's developed and used in a way that aligns with our values. Yeah,
So it's not about being afraid of AI or just blindly accepting it. It's about finding that balance, innovation, and ethics, progress, and caution.
exactly. We need to have open and honest conversations about the potential benefits and risks of AI, and we have to invest in research that focuses on making AI safe and aligned with our goals. Working together is key. We have to create a future where AI benefits everyone.
That's a powerful message. It's a call to action for all of us, no matter what we do. The future of AI is in our hands.
And it's a future we can shape. If we face the challenges and embrace the opportunities that come with AI, we can create a world where technology helps humanity, not the other way around.
We've talked about so much in this deep dive into AI in 2024. The crazy amount of research going on, how it's changing industries and jobs, everything. And I keep thinking back to something you mentioned earlier, this idea that AI could actually run out of data. If these models need so much data, is there a chance that, well, that AI development could just slow down?
It's a really interesting question, and yeah, researchers are definitely worried about it. Like we said, these AI models are getting bigger and bigger. They need tons of data to learn, and some people think we might be reaching a point where, we just can't keep feeding them.
So what happens then? Do we just accept that AI progress is going to slow down, or is there anything we can do about it?
Well, there are a few things people are trying. One idea is to come up with better ways to train these models, ways that can get more learning out of the data we already have, be more efficient. Another option is to use that synthetic data we talked about. But even with synthetic data, there are challenges. We got to make sure it's good quality and diverse enough.
It sounds like figuring out this data problem is going to be really important if we want AI to keep getting better. But it also makes me think about, the bigger picture. If we're already worried about running out of data now, what's going to happen in the future when these models get even more complex and need even more data?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we need to change how we think about AI development. Instead of just trying to build bigger and more powerful models, maybe we need to explore different approaches that don't rely so much on having massive amounts of data.
That makes sense. Instead of a race to build the biggest AI, we should focus on making AI smarter and more efficient with what we've got.
Oh,
Quality over quantity, right?
exactly. And that might mean looking at new ways to design AI systems, incorporating different learning methods, or even finding ways to use human knowledge and expertise to help train these models.
It sounds like a pretty exciting challenge, one that's going to take a lot of creativity and collaboration from different fields. Before we wrap up, though, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier, the ethics of AI.
Oh yeah, that's something we can't ignore. As AI becomes a bigger part of our lives, we have to make sure it's used responsibly and ethically.
We talked about some of the risks, bias, misinformation, the impact on jobs, but what can we actually do to deal with those risks and make sure AI is used for good?
It's a big challenge, and there's no easy answer. One important thing is to be more transparent and accountable when we're developing AI. That means being open about the data and algorithms we use to train models and setting clear rules for how AI should be used.
So basically, we need to open up the black box of AI and make sure everything is out in the open where it can be examined.
Right. We also need researchers, policymakers, and industry leaders to work together to create ethical guidelines and regulations for AI.
It sounds like we need a global conversation about AI ethics, one that includes everyone.
Absolutely. And that conversation needs to happen now while AI is still developing. We have a chance to shape the future of AI so that it benefits all of humanity, but we have to be proactive and thoughtful about it.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening for me. It's clear that AI is more than just a new technology. It has the power to completely change our world.
I agree. And like we've been saying, the decisions we make now about how we develop and govern AI are going to have a huge impact on the future. It's a responsibility we all share.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI in 2024, what are the key takeaways our listeners should remember?
Well, first, AI is changing super fast, and it's affecting every part of our lives. Second, while AI has amazing potential to make things better, there are risks that we need to address head on. And finally, if we want AI to have a positive impact, we all need to work together. We need open discussions, ethical considerations, and responsible development practices.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. This has been a really insightful and thought-provoking conversation.
It's been my pleasure. And to all our listeners, I encourage you to keep learning about AI, keep asking questions, and stay engaged in this crucial conversation that's shaping our future.
And that concludes our deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it informative and maybe even a little inspiring. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.